Yes, United States Grand Jury, District of Maine, in respect to Raymond Carter, John Dickerson, Eugene Kelly, Uno Ova, Russell Odone, Porter O'Hara, Franklin Pryor, Joseph Riccardi, Bertie Teal, Leslie Wallace, Ed Walsh, Philip Williams, and Richard Taylor. Testimony of Michael Cunniff, given before the United States Grand Jury, District of Maine at the United States District Courthouse, Bangor, Maine, on December 12, 1985. Appearances: J. McCloskey, Esquire, and Corrine L. Keene, Grand Jury Reporter. Michael Cunniff, a witness being first duly sworn, testifies as follows. Examination by Mr. McCloskey. Mr. Cunniff, thank you for coming this morning. Could you tell us how you were employed? Yes, I'm a special agent with the United States Drug Enforcement Administration. And how long have you been employed by the Drug Enforcement Administration? 13 and a half years. And what are your duties with the Drug Enforcement Administration? I'm assigned to the Maine State Police U.S. Drug Enforcement Anti-Smuggling Task Force, which is based in Maine. Did you have an occasion to investigate a hashish importation at Dutch Neck, Walboro, Maine, which occurred in 1981? Yes, I did. Could you tell us generally what your investigation with regard to that case disclosed? Yes, as a result of a lead provided by the Walboro Town Police to the State Police Criminal Intelligence Unit, I met with State Trooper Conrad McNaughton June 1st, 1981, in Walboro. Shortly after meeting Trooper McNaughton, I drove down to the Dutch Neck site, actually Gross Neck area, and spoke to Wayne and Minnie Harvey. Minnie Harvey is the mother of Wayne Harvey. They lived in separate houses on the Gross Neck Road, not far from Raymond Carter's property. Mrs. Harvey told me that she and her son each told me that during the night of May 6, 1981, they were disturbed at about 11:30 p.m. by several trucks, which drove down the Gross Neck Road in the direction of Raymond and Bert Carter's property on Gross Neck. They were concerned that the trucks may have been involved in some burglary in the area, so they called the town police, and the police chief took the town cruiser down the Gross Neck Road toward Raymond Carter's property. Mrs. Harvey and her son saw the cruiser go by and saw it return a short time later, headed back toward the town of Walboro. I spoke to Walboro Police Chief on June 1st as well, and he told me that he had received a telephone call from either Mrs. Harvey or her son, and as a result drove down the Gross Neck Road in a town cruiser, but wasn't able to locate the trucks that had been the subject of the complaint. After speaking to Mrs. Harvey and her son, I spoke to another person from Walboro named Tony Lash, who owned a 10-wheel dump truck known as a wheeler and a bulldozer. He told me in the early May of 1981, he had been contacted by Raymond Carter, who lives on Gross Neck, and asked by Mr. Carter, who was a friend of Tony Lash, to bring his bulldozer down to Bert Carter's property. Bert Carter is the father of Raymond Carter, and he owns Although he lives elsewhere, he owns some property on the shorefront opposite Raymond Carter's house. When, according to Lash, when he arrived, he saw perhaps 10 to 20 people congregating around the access road, heading from the Gross Neck Road down to the shoreline, and he saw a truck, which he described as a straight job truck, in the covert area of the access road. One of the people he saw standing around was carrying a portable radio, according to Tony Lash. After some work, his bulldozer fell over, afterwards uprighted. The bulldozer was used and the dump truck used to pull out this truck. After this, he used his dump truck to transport a number of people who had been standing around over to the Lusty Lobster, where he dropped them off. He said he was later paid by Raymond Carter approximately $2,000 for his work. After talking to Tony Lash, I also spoke to Raymond Carter. I told him I was investigating what I believed to have been a smuggling incident that occurred during the night of May 6th, 7th, over midnight of 1981. I advised him of his constitutional rights, and he declined to give a statement to me at that time. Now, to the best of your knowledge, also based upon your experience as a DEA agent, what is your opinion with regards to the knowledge Tony Lash may have had as to what was going on at Dutch Neck on that evening? I had an opportunity to speak to Raymond Carter yesterday regarding this incident. He gave me a statement concerning his participation in the offloading of drugs that night on May 6th and 7th, 1981. I asked him whether he at any time told Tony Lash what the truck contained. He said no, although he did first tell Lash that the truck contained lobsters. According to Carter, Lash looked around at the circumstances and inquired again, and Carter said something to the effect of, "What do you think is in the truck?" But according to Carter, at no time did he ever tell Lash that the truck contained drugs, and he also said that he first called Lash. He told Lash that he needed the bulldozer because Carter was having trouble with his fishing boat. He needed the assistance of the bulldozer in handling the problem with the boat. So Lash had no previous knowledge what was going on down there was a hashish smuggle? Not according to Carter. He did, by the way, mention, according to Conrad McNaughton, the trooper I was working with in 1981, he told Trooper McNaughton before I spoke to him that he thought the truck may have contained marijuana. But then, when I spoke to Tony Lash, he told me that he had been speculating and no one told him that the truck contained drugs. And Lash did give a statement to me when I interviewed him on June 1st, which apparently, after my conversation with Carter, appears to have been complete. Any questions of Agent Cunniff regarding the 1981 hashish smuggle? The foreman: was it ever determined where the drugs were going? Answer: I spoke to a witness recently in the past few months who told me that the trucks were headed out of the state of Maine. Beyond that, the exact destination of the trucks is unknown to me at this point. The other thing I was going to ask, were the drivers of the trucks different people than the loaders and the uploaders and other people? Has it been determined who drove the trucks? Yes, the identity of the drivers has not been determined at this point. Any other questions? I hereby certify that the foregoing 7 pages is a true and correct transcript of my stenographic notes of the testimony of Michael Cunniff, taken on December 12, 1985, in the matter of Raymond Carter et al. Corrine L. Keene, Grand Jury reporter.